Hello everyone, as you're watching me live, whether you are on Facebook, you're on LinkedIn or on YouTube, I welcome you all. Well, today I have chosen to speak again about leadership, and I'm sure you will agree and you will realize that the more we talk about this topic, the more we learn. And no wonders, every year when you click on Google and you type the word leadership, you get millions of hits. And the reason is because the topic is always having some secret, something very interesting in it that makes us to learn more and more. Well, as we go further today in today's topic, my focus is all about, as a leader, you should know how to lead yourself. Yes, it's so very true. If you do not know how to lead yourself, how will you lead others? That's the topic that I'm going to talk about it. So if you are an individual contributor, or if you are a very established leader, or you are learning leadership in your existing role, this topic will definitely give you a lot of insights and understanding how to improvise yourself, how to get better and better and reach higher and higher in leading and managing bigger and bigger teams as you prosper in your career. So let's begin with my favorite, and that is a story. It was around 7 p.m. in the evening. Most of the office staff had left. I was also finishing my last report and waiting for my turn to meet my boss. Well, this meeting was kept to discuss my latest leadership assessment report. And when my number was called, I was very anxious, I was very nervous, but at the same time, I was very excited. I was nervous and anxious because I was not knowing what exactly has come out in my leadership assessment report. And my excitement was because if this leadership report comes out well, then my chances go very bright for taking my next job promotion. So the moment I entered into the chamber, I saw my boss, his boss, and an external consultant was sitting. We exchanged the greetings. They asked me to sit, and I was a little anxious and excited when I was facing them. And it looked like that it was pre-decided. The external consultant started speaking, and that's what he said. He said, "Arun, you are a fantastic leader. You are a great leader in this organization. And from your report, we can very clearly see that you have immense potential, that you can do better. And in order to do better, we have identified two important areas that you really need to work upon, and how you perform and how your plans are reviewed by your manager, how they rate you in the next 1 year will decide how you progress in this organization, and your future is dependent on it. And the two areas are, number one, interpersonal skills, and number two is influence on people." I listened everything very carefully. I understood the feedback that came to me. And when I walked out of the cabin, I was a little puzzled because I already had around 3 years of people management experience, and the feedback was not matching with what I actually have more evidence of positivity on interpersonal skills and creating influence on people. And I was just thinking when my boss came out and put his hand on my shoulders and he said that, "Arun, we have to work together to make this happen. I also see that you have immense potential to do many good things, so we will work together and take things ahead." Keeping those things in my mind, I sat down in the evening and I was just thinking about it, whether I should take this seriously or should I drop it. And then the real thing started to happen. I decided that I should really work on the areas where my boss has identified for me, and I will work on my individual developmental plan which my boss has made the next week. And I started focusing on working on my interpersonal skills. And the one thing that I learned very deeply at that time was the word empathy. I really understood what empathy means, and I started working on it. And that's where the inner game of mine started to take place. It was not just interpersonal skills, it was all about my self-awareness, my self-belief, and my self-esteem, which was getting shaped up. And as it started getting shaped up, what it turned out to be the outer game. And that outer game was all about influence and impact. That started to take place with people around, not only just my team, but also other leadership team members, my boss, and also on my customers. Things started to really shape up very well. because every day I was gaining confidence in building my skills. And the results were that exactly after 13 months, I was promoted as a regional sales head. Wow, there was nothing that was going to stop me from now to get better and better at it. And that's where I learned the first lesson, that if you really want to lead others, you first have to lead yourself. And that was my first learning, that I really need to work on my inner game to improvise on my outer game. And it really worked a great deal for me. Therefore, I strongly believe that if you really want to work on leading others, you first need to lead yourself. And in leading yourself, you need to first understand who you are. What are your strengths? What are your shortcomings? What are those things that you can do in the best capacity, and also how you can learn and improvise yourself in getting better and better, because no one is perfect. So the first thing that I did is I had to drop my ego. I had to accept the feedback that was given to me, and I was ready to experiment and try new things. Till the time I had not accepted the feedback, I was very adamant and I was not working on myself. But everything started to change. So this story gave me the life in me to start working on areas where I have never done it before, and that's how I led myself first. Now from here on, I will tell you what are the 5 important ways that you can lead yourself. You can start developing yourself in leading yourself so that you can lead bigger teams. And if you can work on it, I can tell you, you will have a lot of opportunity to grow in your current role and learn a lot about what leadership is all about. So the first point to lead yourself first is self-discipline. Self-discipline in simple words is like taking control on your actions, feelings, and emotions. If you want to build your self-discipline, you really need to be consistent and follow through your commitments, which will help you to become a great leader. And this will help you to build influence and also build a greater trust on your team. The second point is setting higher standards. Now, in simple words, any good leader or a great leader is the one who is able to set new standards, new benchmarks, and expectations for himself, which means that you are not happy and settle down for anything less than the best, which means that you will always strive to do better every time you go out next time. What does it do? It clearly shows that your team will look up to you, that he is not going to settle for something average or below average, which means that once they look up to you, that you always strive for excellence in giving your best, your team also take inspiration from you in giving their best and also trusting your abilities as a great leader. Point number 3 is be an action taker. So the more actions that you take is directly proportional to the more amount of decisions that you take. And the decisions that you take on your self-improvement will have a direct proportion to the way you lead your team, which means that it is always important that you be an action taker and you do the things that you have decided to do for yourself, which means you also are reflecting to your team that you complete the task that you have initiated. A lot of time your team gets frustrated when they see that a leader opens many fronts but doesn't complete anyone. But if you want to be a great leader, you really need to be an action taker, take decisions to improve yourself, your leadership style, so that it creates a very positive impact on your team. Like in my case, when I was given the feedback to work on 2 improvement areas, I really took it to my heart. I decided that I will take action on it. I will bring changes in my behavior, and the results were that I was able to get promoted. It's not just the promotion, but it also reflected a lot on people, including my boss and senior leaders, that he's an action taker. He goes to the finishing line when he has to achieve things. The 4th point in leading yourself is taking self-accountability. Yes, if you really want to be a great leader, you really need to take self-accountability on yourself, which simply means that if you have decided that a particular task has to be done at a particular time, at a particular day, and a particular date, then it has to be done on that time. Because when you have self accountability on yourself, people will watch you, they will look up to you that you're a man of your words. A lot of time, people, when they don't take self accountability, they develop a habit of blaming others, that it is because of my boss, it is because of the market, it is because of the product, it is because of the price, it is because of someone else. They try to blame others for their failures, and people who blame others for their failures, they never succeed. So the only remedy is to take self accountability, to take charge of your situation, because you are going to be responsible for your failures and you are the one who is going to be responsible for your success. So taking self accountability can help you to become a very strong leader. The fifth point, if you want to lead yourself, that is called as be patient. Now I'm sure you will agree that as leaders, you want to take action. You want to take many actions. But you also know that all actions do not bring the desired results, which means if you are not having patience, a lot of people tend to blame others. They tend to get frustrated when results are not coming on their way or as per their expectation. Now, this is the time you need to learn how to be patient with yourself, and not only that, but also with your team. Because if you get impatient, that will be reflected on your body language, and that will get reflected to your team, and they will not like that. Your people will not appreciate that. So what you need to do is you need to learn how to be patient, how to develop that patience for yourself, because patience pays. And once you learn that art of being patient, you will see that you can bring a lot of improvement in the actions that you have taken. Because what you have in your hand is taking actions. What you do not have in your hand is the results. And the only way to get better is to build patience, think over it. If things have not come in your favor, how you can rework it. If things have come in your favor, analyze it, what has worked, and rework on it so that you get better at it. So if I have to summarize everything put together, I would put 2 points. Number one is, leaders and their leadership skills can emerge from any level in the organization. Great leaders do not wait to become designated as leaders. Rather, they look for opportunities where they can exhibit their leadership skills. Number two, that great leaders constantly and continuously coach themselves to get better and better in what they are, so that they can lead others more confidently, because they know that without getting coached by themselves, without getting better at what they are, they will not be able to bring the desired results which are required, which are mandatory in this changed world. So if you really want to become an outstanding leader, a great leader, you really need to look into yourself. Find out what are your strengths. That is what I say is called as self-awareness. Have a deep self-awareness about yourself, because once you are having high self-awareness, you will build high self-esteem. When you have high self-esteem, you will build high self-confidence. And when you have high self-confidence, you will reflect that back in your workspace, with your people when you are working with them day in and day out. And that rubs with other people as well. Then they look up to you as a leader. That's what happened to me when I was struggling to get promoted in my last role. The day I came to know about my improvement areas, I embraced them, I worked towards them, and that's how I built my plan in understanding myself, then my people, and then things started to work for me. I hope this video would have given you some insights about how to become a transitional leader, how to lead yourself, and so that you can lead others. If you find this content very engaging, very useful, do share your comments and feedback below in the comment section, and I will reply each answer that you give. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching me. Stay connected with Arun Thukral.